of both the Department of Justice and the FBI, turning them into tools to attack the perceived enemies of the Biden White House. Now, you have been charged with going in and restoring integrity of the FBI. That is not going to be an easy task. But before you can carry out that task, and I am confident you will be confirmed and you will be in the position to carry out that task, you've got to make it through the gauntlet of the Senate Judiciary Committee. And my colleagues on the Democrat side of the aisle, who I don't know how many spots on Senator Tillis's bingo card have been filled, but it looks like he's playing blackout and they're all filled right now. But you will be and have been accused of just about everything they can. But I want to focus on what several Democrats have done recently, which is trying to blame you for the violence that occurred on January 6th, which even in the annals of ridiculous attacks, this one really takes the cake. So let's just focus on some facts. Let me ask you a question. What role did you occupy in the days immediately before January 6th?
Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense.
You were the Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense.
Yes, sir.
So to be clear, you were not rioting at the Capitol.
No, sir.
Okay. Where were you physically on January 6th?
In the office of the Secretary of Defense in the Pentagon.
And what were you doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of D.C. and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator. We were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
That would have been Nancy Pelosi at the time. Is that correct?
Yes, Senator.
And would that also be Chuck Schumer, then the Senate Majority Leader?
The Sergeant at Arms, yes, Senator, reports up there.
Did Mayor Bowser, the Democrat elected mayor in D.C., either request or allow National Guard assistance?
She put in writing on the days leading up to January 6th a declination for National Guard additional support. And that letter is available publicly to the world.
So, and just to speak English for folks at home, a declination meant she said, no, don't send National Guard. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a simple question, because from the questioning from my Democrat colleagues, they might think otherwise. Do you condemn violence against law enforcement?
All of it.
And by the way, is that true whether the violence is right-wing or left-wing or anywhere else?
There is no discriminating between types of violence against law enforcement.
And do you believe those who assault and commit violence against law enforcement should be prosecuted and should be sent to jail?
Especially those that kill them.
Let me ask you, how many years have you worked in public service?
About 16, Senator.
And how many years have you worked in particular in law enforcement and prosecution and national security?
Over a decade, Senator.
You know, I have to say it is ludicrous but sadly predictable that Democrats are endeavoring to tarnish you, to paint a false caricature based on innuendo and smoke. And so you're working to protect the Capitol on January 6th, and yet they're trying to blame you for the violence that occurred. Let me ask you this just as a straightforward matter. What is the job of the FBI, and what will the FBI's role be if and when you are confirmed as its director?
The simple motto on the website of the FBI's homepage is to protect American citizens and uphold the Constitution. If I am confirmed as the next director of the FBI, that's what we're going to do and redirect resources to making sure that occurs every single day.
Thank you for your willingness to do so. And
Yo, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, yo. Let's get into the talks. As y'all already listening, y'all hearing that this new appointed FBI director, he's about to take office and he's about to investigate basically the whole Biden administration. Said Biden was using the FBI and all the military tactics basically as his personal bodyguards and his personal defense team. And he was making the feds run down on people allegedly who went to school board meetings to find out the situations and the agenda for their children. I appreciate y'all that hit the like button, hit the dislike button if you don't fuck with it. But algorithms is everything. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. This is real factual. While everybody's worried about Big Meech, if he told or not, everybody's worried about who can make somebody look bad. The government is doing stuff like this. They having these secret board meetings where a lot of things are being discussed that y'all don't know about, but y'all too busy on your Instagram and all that.
Brian Sicknick with pepper spray, and the next day, Officer Sicknick suffered from 2 strokes and died.
This is what the government's doing to our people in the jails. I'm pretty sure y'all know about the big statewide strike in New York City, man. All the jails up in New York City, the correctional maximum security all the way down, they COs have walked out. Like, they left people locked down and all that. And I'm just, you know me, jumping out the window, but this is all alleged. I think that happened just to spite President Trump. At the end of the day, he made a massive change. He put the immediate deportation papers out. Still a lot of people, you know, some people are born here, you know, it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, we're talking about right now, they're talking about investigating Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and that whole get up. But you got to go all the way back to the Obama administration. The government was controlling Obama before he became president, and they put Joe Biden on his side. They made him use Joe Biden as the vice president of his campaign cabinet. So when he leave office, Joe Biden and the agenda could step right in and it could get everything going. That's why all our money's going to different places. Like, if you don't if you don't know Trump, I don't agree on the part of just letting a civilian like Elon Musk get access to everybody's financials. But what I can say is that billions of dollars went to a Walt Disney project. Money went to Ukraine to help fund the war that we had nothing to do with. It was a religious war. No matter what was taking place over there, you don't see none of these countries coming to the United States when there's stuff going on in our country, when our people are homeless in this freezing cold weather and they sleeping out on the street, and our own government will not take no money and no funds to help put them in places, but they will give all this money to illegal immigrants. There's a lot going on. Investigations.
No answer, and yet you spread dangerous misinformation. Mr. Patel, the FBI is the primary agency responsible
This is
for
the
investigating
Democrats.
election-related crimes.
The Democrats keep attacking people that want to clean up this dirty
Being
country.
able to separate fact from conspiracy theories around
Now they calling it
elections is
conspiracy
an
theories.
important thing for the FBI director. I have a question to see if you can do that. Mr. Patel, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 presidential election? Yes or no?
President Biden's election was certified. He was sworn in and he served as the president of the United States.
Once again, the people who are 100% loyal to President Trump cannot answer that question. It is alarming that you want to be an FBI director who can answer a simple question, factual question.
He answered the question. He said Joe
During
Biden was sworn
a
in. So
2023
basically, yeah, he
interview
lost,
with
right?
Steve Bannon, you said, quote, "We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about the American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections." There's your quote. Do you still plan to come after the free press?
Not unless private citizens have been defamed. That's their right.
You said that you would be going after the media. That's so.
It seems like the Democratic Party is trying to catch this newly appointed, he's about to be appointed FBI director. They trying to catch him in a whole lot of conspiracies and corruptions, but he's just basically telling it like
Chilling
it
to
is.
the free media. So I didn't.
Anybody that's been defamed has the right to file any complaint civilly or whatever against the person who tries to defame them. Joe Biden has defamed a lot of things out here. That's just my personal opinion. I am not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for myself. That's why I didn't vote for that man. The man's crooked, man. You see all the corruption that's happening in the United States while you was in office. Police gunning down innocent people. Police is doing a lot of stuff, violating the people that put them in the positions to be where they at. And this president, Joe Biden, that has been the former president, he's let that slide in his presidential run. And a lot of people's rights have been violated. I know from previous and personal experience because my personal rights was violated. And when they was violated under his administration. I'm not saying that his judges and all that, but when you're the president, you're the overseer of everything. When it comes down to social, judicial, and everything, you're the overseer. You look at it whether Congress and the Senate control you or they don't control you, whatever the case that may be. You have to spot eyes on that, Mr. President. And no matter how everybody view this man, Donald Trump, he does have some good views at points sometimes. He was telling y'all about the border security a long time ago when he was president before everybody was going against him to get him impeached. Y'all didn't listen to him then. The borders was flooded. No disrespect, but a lot of illegals came to this country and started messing up a lot of stuff. And this country was already twisted. You know, everybody's getting hate crimes everybody's getting hate crime laws to protect them except black people. Black people are the only people that don't have, basically what it looks like, don't have no rights. As soon as you start educating yourself, they'll call you a terrorist. They'll call you a domestic terrorist. They'll say you're a threat. They'll make up all types of stuff to put against you. But as soon as you challenge the system, you're deemed a threat. And that's kind of crazy to me. I would never go with the norm if I see that something is not right.
I do, Senator.
You were instrumental in revealing that the Trump-Russia election collusion hoax was a hoax, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was a lead investigator.
They trying to condemn this man.
Sounds to me like we need to get some new conspiracy theories because all the old ones turned out to be true.
Facts matter, Senator.
Yeah. I mean, conspiracy theorists are up something like 37-0. You're not not saying that everybody at the FBI is bad, are you?
Never said that. I've overwhelmingly said multiple times that 98% of the FBI is courageous, apolitical warriors of justice. They just need better leadership, especially those who participated in these conspiracies that actually turned out
Who
to degrade
who
them.
who put away the Unabomber?
The FBI.
Who put away Timothy McVeigh and his Stalin's stomach for blood?
Brick agents at the FBI.
Who helped investigate Jussie Smollett, who, in an effort of self-aggrandizement, set back the fight for minority rights for years?
I think that was local authorities.
It was the FBI that opened an investigation, wasn't it?
Eventually, yes, Senator.
There have been or were some bad people at the FBI and the Justice Department, which were.
Y'all worried about Big Meech and them. Y'all need to be paying attention to what's going on in the world, man. A lot of shit's going on out here y'all ain't aware of, man.
His lawyer, a gentleman by the name of Michael Sussman, had a pass to come and go at the FBI building as he wished. Don't you think the American people have a right to know about the details of that?
Not just that, but what a political party was doing with the secure compartmented information facility with direct access to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Mr. Hunter Biden cheated on his income taxes. Didn't pay $1.4 million in income taxes over 4 years.
1.4 over 4 years.
And he filed fraudulent returns. He tried to deduct his hookers as a business expense, for God's sakes.
So
And they hit him
Biden
with
said-
2 misdemeanors before there was a public outcry. Don't you think the American people are entitled to know the details of that?
The American people are entitled to a singular form of justice. And
They said Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, illegally avoided paying his tax return of $1.4 million. He tried to get the hookers he paid for to file them as a business. He filed fraudulent returns and ultimately caught two misdemeanors before he was pardoned. If that was a black man, he'd be in jail doing 15 years right now in the federal system.
Quote, just went to a Southern Virginia Walmart. I could smell the Trump support, end quote. Remember that?
he did that while employed at the FBI while working on that investigation.
Do you remember when the IG revealed another?
Y'all remember when Joe Biden said in his campaign run, if y'all don't vote for me, y'all not black?
Trump is.
He handed out free crack pipes during his presidential run. Y'all don't remember this?
End of quote. You remember that?
Peter Strzok.
This is the same guy, Joe Biden, that used to be president. He used to be a senator, and they had him on audio and video using the nigger word like it was a racist word.
President, right? And Mr. Strzok replied, no, he won't. We'll stop it.
Hit the like button, man.
I do remember their insurance policy.
And then Mr. Strzok testified in front of God and country that never had his political beliefs impacted his work. You believe in the tooth fairy?
When I was a kid.
You believe Jimmy Hoffa died of natural causes?
He's also not in the end zone of Giant Stadium.
And then Mr. Strzok got fired, and next thing we know, the FBI and the Department of Justice, after he sued, gave him $1.2 million. Don't you think the American people are entitled to know the details of that?
Absolutely.
Now, I want you to think hard before you answer my next question.
They keeping stuff from the American people.
Do you believe in the adage that two wrongs don't make a right?
Y'all are voting for these people that are robbing the country. They're getting caught with cocaine in the White House and getting pardoned for it. If that ain't the most crookedest shit that's happening at the highest level, then we are all letting pass by us and everybody's blind. Everybody don't want to pay attention to that, but everybody always got some views on Diddy and all that. We don't care about what's happening there.
Now, there's some,
The president of Abercrombie and Fitch and his peoples caught the same charge, and they're out on a $10 million bail right now. Puff Daddy don't got no bail.
accordance with due process and the rule of law. And then you've got to lift up the good people. Don't go over there and burn that place down. Go over there and make it better. Do you commit to us today that you will do that?
I commit to you, if confirmed, Senator, every single day, 24/7, 365, the FBI will be the premier law enforcement agency in the world.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll now recess for a 30-minute.
He's not playing. Trump got this guy, and this guy's a bulldog. At the end of the day, this is a request to the president. Now that you're in office and you want to make all this stuff public and you want to be on the fighting edge and you want to do the right thing and you want to be that guy, right? It's time to clean up the streets with all this homelessness and all these drug addicts. We need to get them into facilities where they can help themselves and get the proper help to rehabilitate themselves and give them back their life, because they obviously can't do it by themselves. You want to make a powerful statement, Mr. President? That's what you do. Go to Philadelphia, go to Boston, go to Vermont, come to New York, go down south, all the way in the south, and go across the whole United States. Stop at each state and go to the slums and clean it up. Get these people some help, because if you could give money to, if the old administration could funnel out all that money to illegal immigrants respectfully, then it's time to take care of home base, bro. How you going to take care of abroad if you ain't taking care of home? This is the problem that's been the problem for a lot of these presidents that came through the door of the presidency since it began. There ain't been nothing done to strengthening us as a country, but we're helping rebuild and strengthen everybody else, man.
If I can jump right in, 12 prosecutors, career prosecutors, were involved in an investigation and prosecuting the cases against President Trump and were recently fired. Some of those that were involved in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Do you know who Brett Reynolds is?
Maybe, but it doesn't ring a bell at this point. Senator.
You're under oath. You have no recollection of who Brett Reynolds is?
If you could provide me with a little more context, I could possibly remember.
Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations?
Senator, just to be clear, I did not participate in any of those DOJ
Sir,
decisions.
that's a yes or no question. Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations? Yes or no?
I'm not aware of that,
Thank you.
Senator.
There is no evidence of wrongdoing by FBI employees involved in these investigations. If you do pursue investigations of those involved, will you commit to using standard processes, including a standard review by the FBI Inspections Division and the Inspector General?
Senator, I will honor all those review processes.
You will honor those review processes.
Yes, Senator.
If these are actions that the FBI employees, if there are actions against FBI employees that do not follow those standards process that happen before you get in, will you commit to reversing any decision prior to your arrival so that those standard processes and the standard review by the FBI Inspections Division will take place?
I don't know what's going on right now over there, but I'm committed to you, Senator, and your colleagues that I will honor the internal review process of the FBI.
Have you made any commitments to anyone about pursuing any investigations or targets if you are FBI director?
Only violent criminals and terrorists.
Have you had any conversations with anyone on the transition team about pursuing any investigations or targets?
Only following the Constitution.
Again, are you certain?
That I have told people on the
Are you
administration.
certain? Have you had any conversations with anyone on the transition team about pursuing any investigations or targets?
Senator, to the best of my recollection, I've only said I will use the Constitution.
Have you discussed specific investigations or targets you would pursue as FBI director with the
He
President of
just
the United
asked the
States?
same question 3 times.
Senator, to the best of my recollection, no.
Are you certain?
To the best of my recollection, no.
According to public reports, you were subpoenaed by the federal prosecutors to testify as a witness before the grand jury investigation investigating the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. And you testified before the grand jury, correct?
Yes, sir.
Seems
And
like
when
he's
you
being
were before the
interrogated.
grand jury, you pled the fifth on the basis of self-incrimination, correct?
I utilized my constitutional rights during that process with the advice and consent of counsel and appeared before that grand jury.
I will take that as a yes. And you are familiar, I imagine, with section 6002 of Title 18.
Off the top of my head, Senator, not.
Well, section 6002 is the immunity statute. Whenever a witness refuses to testify or provide other information before a grand jury based upon the privilege against self-incrimination, the court can order the witness to testify. The witness must comply with the order, but they receive immunity, which means that no testimony or any other information provided before the grand jury can be used against them in any criminal proceeding. You were compelled to testify as a witness in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case. Did you participate in any criminal conduct involved in that case?
Involved in which, the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case?
Yes.
No, I testified through compulsion by court order.
You received immunity for providing information that was self-incriminating. Do you remember the name of the prosecutor who questioned you?
There were multiple, Senator. I do not.
Was it one of the people, were any of them people that were fired this past week?
I have no idea, Senator.
Are you certain? You're under oath.
I'm aware that I'm under oath, Senator, and I have no idea, and I did not participate in the removal of any DOJ prosecutors.
What was the information you provided that you received immunity for?
Senator, I would love my grand jury testimony to be released, but as you know, that grand jury testimony has been sealed by the Department of Justice, and I'm not allowed to discuss it here.
Well, I find it troubling that you do not know the law here, and let me tell you what the law is. Rule 6 governs grand jury proceedings. Under Rule 6E, grand jurors, court reporters, and prosecutors are bound to secrecy. But witnesses are not bound by secrecy. You were a witness in the classified documents case. You are not bound by secrecy. You can tell us everything that happened in that room and everything you testified about. I'll ask you again, what information did you provide to the grand jury?
In this, we are in agreement, Senator. Get my grand jury testimony. I want it made public. I asked the Department of Justice to
So
make
why-
it public, and
there's
they
no
refused
legal-
to do so.
There is no legal bound against you telling us right now what you testified to.
When I asked for my transcript to be released, the
Sir,
Department
did
of
you or did you
Justice-
not commit a crime?
Senator, I did not commit a crime.
Then why won't you tell us what you testified to?
Because it occurred over the course of 3 weeks. I don't have the ability to recall everything I testified to, but I'm asking you to
Did
put
you
my
testify
transcript
to
out.
witnessing the President of the United States declassifying documents?
Senator, what I testified to is best captured by that transcript
So
in real
you're
time.
not willing to tell Congress, after making many pledges today about transparency, whether or not
They trying to press him to be transparent, but they have the transcripts of what actually happened, and they don't want to reveal what actually happened. So something's not right.
you have said today
They trying to make this man look bad.
to witnessing the President of the United States declassify documents.
I testified accordingly and under oath, and I encourage you to get that transcript.
And by the law of our land, you are free to tell people, what are you hiding from Congress? Answer the question. Did you testify to witnessing the President of the United States declassifying documents, yes or no?
Senator, the grand jury testimony is available to you. I encourage you to make it public.
As you likely know, the second volume of Jack Smith's report about the classified document case is not public yet. To fulfill our constitutional duty of advice and consent, the President, on nominations, members of this committee have asked the DOJ to review the report. Do you agree that Congress should thoroughly review its nominees? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, last question and I'll be done. When you and I met, you told me that you wanted to remove 11,000 FBI personnel or move many of them, and you said that again today. You have looked at an org chart to understand what offices and functions that you'll be pulling from. I don't think you've done a serious analysis, but I do think you have an assignment from Donald Trump to gut the FBI. You said yourself, I'll shut down the FBI Hoover building. There are people specifically that you are targeting, I believe, And do you agree
He said he believed.
have already
It's not factual.
plans to remove certain individuals from their offices? For example, individuals that will be replaced by political personnel. The political personnel that are being put in an institution that you and I discussed that has no political appointees but one, the political personnel involve these names: Erica Knight, Tom Ferguson, Greg Bitzner.
You stated your question. Would you answer? Or don't you want to? Okay.
We can move on.
Senator Blackburn.
It's just so sad how the Democrats are trying to attack a FBI, future FBI appointed director, and he's stepping in to clean up a mess that the old administration has implied. And with that cleaning up of mess, there's going to be a lot of investigations on a lot of people that was in that FBI office building that was tied in and run with the whole BS that the president and his administration was putting together. We don't know what it is, and it was a lot of BS going on. As soon as Trump get into office, now it's an investigation on these new appointed people that's getting appointed by the new president, because the new president is exposing everything. A lot's going on, and a lot of people can face a lot of scrutiny, possibly charges with this thing, because there's a lot of defiance that's going on to the people, and that's very, very dangerous. If the people's not knowing what's going on with the situation, and they're playing political games, and they're keeping things to the side, and they're pushing things off to the side, and next thing you know, things are starting to happen out of nowhere for this country, like drones, like mysterious sicknesses that's starting to happen, hospitalizations, prison strikes, what else? A lot of mysterious things are starting to happen now, and I feel like it's because the new administration, some people didn't want Trump to be president again. After he was impeached, all you hear is he's a felon, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 right? Obama served 2 terms and did nothing. He was told to do certain things and move a certain way and act a certain way, and he was the one that was campaigning for equal rights for everybody, but black people didn't receive no benefits from none of these last 3 presidents that came in and out that White House. Now that Trump is in White House, he's using what, to me, it looks like the little color card sometimes. I mean, at the end of the day, some points be valid. I can't say all his shit be bogus, because he did warn us about that border shit, yo. He warned us about that border shit, yo. Trump warned us about that border shit, yo. I can say that. No other president that came through this motherfucking country has said nothing about the problem at the border, cuz. And I'm not racist towards my people. I feel like if this is the land of the free and the land of opportunity, then there shouldn't be no borders. There should be screening, because anybody could come in, and some people are dangerous, but I believe there should be screening. Shouldn't be no closing back the people. Y'all opened up and made this country available to every race across the world. This country is considered the melting pot of all countries. Every nationality is in the United States. And over the times, a lot of things have changed. So at the end of the day, everybody want to point the finger at this man. He's just, y'all scared of the truth. This man out here telling the truth, and he don't care what happened. You see, whether it was staged or not, attempts done been on this man's life. Why is that? And it only happens when somebody exposes something that shouldn't have been exposed with this country. And I always believe the government knows everything that happens like that in this country. They tried to blame the mafia for Kennedy getting killed. People are saying it was the government, allegedly. You realize the media is going to make you believe what they want you to believe and point it in a direction so many times and replay it so much to where it's in your head, to where you wake up and you just be like, yo, it's that. That's how sneaky our government is. Our government has CIA agents that might be floating around in your neighborhood, in your community. You don't know about it. At the end of the day, our country's at risk right now because the people are being bamboozled by all this propaganda and campaign BS that people are starting to believe falsified imagery. People are starting to believe falsified things, and they're voting for people that are bad people. They're voting for people that have agendas. They're voting for people that have revenge in their heart. They're voting for people that are dictator-like. And it's been happening ever since this country was put together. People are being forced. They taking away your financials to force you to vote for somebody who's pitching a better lie. This country was almost ran by a woman, and I ain't going to even front. Even though people feel like she wasn't ready to be no leader of this country, she was stating things about Donald Trump that showed proof later on after he got elected. She told everybody he was out to cut the board of education. She told everybody that he was doing a lot of things before he got into office. The things that she was stating when he got into office started happening. So it's just basically a power struggle. They're playing tug of war with our country. And what they're doing is they're ripping our country apart because now the division is coming back. It's a divide and conquer thing, and it's based off of popularity. This country is looking real bad with all the stuff that's happening right now across the world, man. A lot of things are happening. Instead of having political boxing matches and wrestling fights and MMA fights, both of these sides, goofy ass people on both sides, old ass people, need to get it together. If y'all really care about this country and what happens for this country, then y'all stop acting like grown ass kids. There's some young adults that's smart enough to run this country, man. There's young adults and mature adults that can sit in these seats and make proper decisions. These people are rich. These people are old. These people don't know what they talking about, man. They think they speak for a whole nation. And these people don't never be seen nowhere. You don't see these people in the community interacting with the people or stepping out into spots. These people are so scared to come out their house, they get driven from their house protected to a forum and sit down amongst a bunch of other people who don't know what's going on. They just guessing and playing Monopoly and war strategic games with us, placing people in things and situations in certain areas. This ain't Battleship. Y'all got to be careful about who y'all vote for. Stay in tune with what's going on, man. Stop worrying about what's going on with Diddy and Big Meech and all that shit. They don't care about none of y'all. Pay attention to what's about to happen to y'all and your livelihood, or you're going to be lost. Love us, yo.